So for us to cut our vintage shirt, I'm going to show us a very simple method. All right. And also the other video on vintage shirt, so many persons were complaining that the chalk is that they can't see what I'm drafting very well. So I'll try to make my chalk very visible so that you can see. All right. So if you're interested in knowing how to cut and sew a vintage shirt, you are watching the right video, right? So I would advise you hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on, so that whenever I drop my videos, you'll be the first to be notified. So let's start. These are the measurements we are going to be using for our vintage shirt. We are going to be using a chest measurement, a shoulder measurement of 19, a chest measurement of 42. The length of the shirt is 29, and I think that's basically what we need. The neck of the shirt is 17. All right, so let's hit into the cutting. So when cutting your vintage shirt, this is how you fold your fabric. First of all, you fold your fabric into two. And very important, when you're using fabrics, try to make the fabrics have a part that is considered to be the head. All right, and you can know that by the diagrams, the images on the fabric. For this fabric, we have palm trees. Okay, palm trees heading this way, heading this way. So it means this is the head side of the fabric and this is the down part. So that you don't cut it and at the end you discover that your fabrics, the pattern on it is showing is inverted. That won't be correct. So after taking note of that, I folded my fabric into two, you see, into two, and the bad side of the fabric is the one outside, the good face is inside. All right. So after folding into two, I went ahead and again, after folding two, I went ahead. The next thing you do is to fold it again this way. All right. Now you fold this way using an allowance of anything up to 5 inches is okay. All right. 5 inches is fine. But what we have here, I think we have up to 6. You can fold up to 6 inches, all right. But anything up to 5 is fine. So this is almost 6 inches. You can see this is almost 6 inches. Now you fold this like this because of the what? Because of the neck. All right, because of the cam collar neck you are putting on this vintage shirt. That is why you fold this allowance up to what? 5 inches plus or 6 inches. All right. If not, this allowance is known for a normal packet shirt. This allowance is just 2.5 inches. So after folding like this, let's go. The next thing for us to do is to apply our measurement and start our cutting straight up. So the next thing for us to do now is to get the chest, the wideness of the chest, which they said is what is 42. If you divide 42 by 4, you will have what? You will have 10 and a half. All right. So 10 and a half. This is 10 and a half right here. This 10 and a half here. Okay. So when we have 10 and a half here, I'm not going to cut on this 10 and a half. I'll add extra 1 inch. That becomes what? 11 and a half. So this is my 11 and a half. And I'm going to make sure this chalk is very visible so that you can see it very well. So from this beginning point here, this is my 11 and a half. But remember what we are dealing with is what? 10 and a half. Just 1 inch seam allowance. So I'll still come down here at the middle part somewhere and still mark what? 11 and a half. I'll still mark 11 and a half somewhere down here because I want to join the points and I would love to get a straight line. All right. Like I said, I want this to be very visible. Since the last video, were complaining that it wasn't visible, the lines wasn't visible. So I'm going to mark this. So I hope this line is visible enough for you to see. I hope you can see this line. Hope this line is visible enough for you to see. So this is what the size of our vintage shirt. Let's confirm that it is what? It is 11 and a half. So this is 11 and a half, all right? So we are correct. The next thing for us to do is to come down here by 4 inches, okay? From the beginning point here, we'll come down here by 4 inches. So this is 4 inches, all right? The next thing we'll do is to join this point to this point here. So we'll simply join this point to the beginning point here, all right? I believe this line is also visible and you can see it, all right? So the next thing we're going to do now is to check the length of our vintage shirt. And we say the length we're looking for is 29. So we're going to keep our tape in the middle of these two lines here and then locate our what? Our 29, okay? So this is 29, all right? 29 is here. So it's 29 here. We'll not add it, we'll just leave it at 29. The length of our sheet is 29, all right? So this is 29 right here. So we'll make this line a straight line. 29 is here. I'm going to make it very bold so that you can see it. This is 29, all right? So we have gotten our front block, okay? So we are going to remove this front block out so that we'll use it to get the back block. So that we can use it to get the back block, and then we'll apply our measurements and cut it out. So the next thing for us to do is to pin it. We'll pin it properly so that the shape doesn't scatter. All right, so the next thing for us to do now is to quickly get to the back piece and finish up the work. So mind you, this is the head side, the upside of the fabric. So we simply keep this way, and you see the way I'm keeping it. And this is the center part of the back. Please pay close attention so that you don't miss out at any point. All right, so the next thing we're going to do at this point, we're going to slant this shoulder here, just like we did for the front piece. We slant this shoulder here. After slanting it, we'll push it down to come down, giving us allowance here of what? 4 inches. So the next thing for us to do, we slant it down. We have allowance here of 4 inches. Can you see this 4 inches? So the next thing for us to do is to fold this 4 inches inwards like this. Can you see this? Fold it inwards like this to cross this front part by just, to cross it, overlap it by just half an inch. It's just half an inch. So we will press it so that will prevent it from shaking and scattering what we are doing. The next thing for us to do is to apply our measurements and finish this vintage shirt. So how do we apply our measurement? Let's get the shoulder measurement first. Our measurement are starting from here, mind you, from here. All right, so if we keep our tape here, our shoulder is 19 divided by 2, that will be 9.5. Okay, so this is what? 9.5 right here. Hope you can see this. This is 9.5. All right, so this 9.5 we have here, we still extend it down. All right, extend our 9.5 down. This is it. Okay, the next thing for us to do is to get the length of our arm. And how do you curve your arm? You simply divide the shoulder measurement by 2. If you divide shoulder measurement, which is 19 by 2, you will have 9.5. And this is what? 9.5 here. But from experience, we're not going to use this 9.5 complete. We'll minus 1.5 inch from it. That will take us back to what? To 8. And I'm going to show you why you are minusing that 1.5 inch. So 9.5 minus 1.5 takes you back to what? To 8. This is 8 here. All right. So this 8 and 9.5 here that we measured here will join the line together so that we can curve our arm. All right. Join the points together. That we can curve the arm. So this is it. I want it to be very visible so that you can see it. Hope it is visible enough for you to see it. All right. The next thing for us to do is to curve this arm. And curving this arm will simply come up here by 2 inches from this point here. This 8 and from this 8 inches point will come up by 2 inches. All right. And at this 2 inches mark, will come in by what? By 1 inch. By 1 inch. All right. Then we'll do what? We'll curve our arm. We'll curve our arm like this. All right. So I'm going to curve our arm like this. I believe this chalk is visible enough for you to see. I believe it's visible enough for you to see. All right. So this is our arm here that I have just curved. Can you see this? Can you see this? This is our arm here. Now I said I'll show you why I removed this 1.5 inch here. This is why. The arm size we're looking for is 9.5. So let's see if we have our 9.5 here. Mind you, this is our chest measurement. 10.5. This is it. 10.5 is here. That 1 inch is seam allowance. So let's check if we have our 9.5 from here. Can we see, guys? We have 9.5 accurately. 9.5. So if we had used this 9.5 complete, by the time you curve your arm, you'll be having something as much as 11.5. And that will be too big. That is why you minus a 1 inch, 1.5 inch before doing that. Hope it's taken. The next thing for us to do is to what? Is to check the arm to get the neck. And the formula for getting neck, it is simply the neck size divide by what? Divide by 4. So for this neck, we have a neck of 17. So if you divide 17 by 4, divide 17 by 4, 17 divided by 4, you will have 4.25. All right. So the depth of this neck is going to be what? 4.25. This is 4.25. We got this by simply dividing the neck by 4. All right, this is 4.25. And for us to get our wideness, we'll divide this 4.25 by 2. If we divide 4.25 by 2, you should be having 2.1. All right, 2.1. This should be 2.1. Hope we are seeing this. The next thing for us to do is to curve our neck. Next thing for us to do is to curve our neck. All right, and we'll simply curve our neck this way. We'll curve from here to this point here. And I hope this chalk is clear, you can see it. So it's curved, it's roundish, okay? It's a semicircle. It's a semicircle, right? Such that when you can you see this? It's a circle, just right. So when we want to cut now, this neck here, we are not going to cut together with the back piece. Please be careful. We are cutting only the what? The front piece. So we are done with the neck measurement. The neck cutting. Next thing for us to do is to cut out the what? The arm. So I'm going to cut out my arm this way. Alright. And I'll cut here. Now guys, a quick one. If this was a packet shirt, alright, I would have gone ahead to curve the to deepen the front part of the shirt by half inch. I would have deepened inside by half inch. Alright. But since it's a vintage shirt is not as fitted to the body as a packet shirt. So I'm not going to deepen the front piece inside by half an inch. I'll simply leave it like this. Alright, now I want to show us why I didn't add any allowance to the length of the shirt when I was cutting the shirt. Remember, we measured the length of our shirt, we said it's 29, and we used 29. We didn't add any hemming allowance. It is because when this back piece that is over by 4 inches comes in, all right, if you measure this length now from here, we are having up to 31. So this excess here becomes our what? Hemming allowance. That is why I didn't add any hemming allowance when I was taking measurement for the what? Front piece. Hope that is clear. That's why. All right. So the next thing for us to do is this front here. We'll notch it. We'll notch the front here. Just the front. We'll notch it here, and even at the neck here, we'll see what we'll notch it. All right. And by so doing, we are done with cutting this vintage shirt. Let's cut the yoke. All right. We have to get the yoke. And for us to get the yoke, we simply let's cut the sleeve first before we get the yoke so that we don't waste our fabric. Cut the sleeve first, and even when cutting the sleeve, you have to be still mindful of the pattern of this dress. The trees are heading this way, so we're going to cut here to be the shoulder part of the sleeve. All right, so this is how we cut it. And for the sleeve we have our sleeve length to be 9, the sleeve round to be 15. Okay, so sleeve length of 9. Mind you, our fabric is stopping here. Our fabric is stopping. So how are we going to fold our fabric to cut our sleeve? We'll simply fold our fabric considering what? The arm. Okay. If you divide, we'll say the shoulder, we'll consider the shoulder. You say the shoulder is what? Is 19. Divide 19 by 2, you will have 9.5. Okay. You can just add 1 inch to it or half inch to it. That becomes 10. So that's why I folded this fabric here. So this is 10. Alright. So the next thing for us to do is to check the length of the sleeve, which is what? 9.5. Alright. The length of this sleeve is 9.5. And since it's a vintage shirt, we are going to hem it inside, and we'll add 2.5 inches for that hemming allowance. That becomes 12. Alright. So this is 12. So this is the length 9.5 here. I will extend the line 9.5 plus 2.5 inches to become 12. This is 2.5 inches. Alright. So the next thing for us to do is to get the what? The sleeve round. We said it's 15. By 15 divided by 2, that will be 7.5. This is 7.5. We just add like 3/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so from the top here, how to cover our sleeve? From the top here, we'll mark 5 inches downwards, or 4.5 inches. This is a vintage shirt. 4.5 inches is fine. 4.5 inches here. Okay, and then we'll curve this to meet this point here. So this is how we'll curve it. Now I have in my videos a video on how to curve or how to cut the sleeve accurately. Okay, check in my videos and you see that video. In that video I explain how to get all these sleeve curves that are there. I don't want us to waste time with all those things here, so we'll not go into that. The next is to join this point to this point here, this point here to this point here. All right, and then instead of coming straight like this, we'll flay it out here. All right, by 1 inch, so that when you hem it, you won't be having shortage here. I explain all of this in that video on how to cut sleeve accurately. Next thing for us to do now is to go ahead and cut it, and we are done. So we simply use this to produce a second sleeve. The next thing for us to do is to get the yoke. All right. So we'll simply get our yoke from here. The material is almost short in, but you can still give what we want. So a yoke right here. Like I said, guys, always remember to remove these rough edges. So with this, we are done cutting our vintage shirt. All right. The next thing for us to do is to go into the stitching aspect. So if you enjoy watching this video, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button, turn your notification bell on, so that whenever I drop my videos, you'll be notified. All right. Let's go into the stitching aspect.